Welcome to another Artis Opus tutorial. You are here because you haven't managed flames before. We have a doozy for you today. Behind me, looking beautiful in the cabinets, are two sets of wings. We're painting one of them. I'll explain why in a second. I have prepared you a resource, so you never need to worry about how to do this again. I've even labeled the mistake where things will go wrong. I'm smiling because it still went wrong for me, even though I know to avoid it. So that should probably give weight to the fact it is that common a mistake. There's a way to fix it, but also you can try and avoid it, even though I failed. And as long as you avoid that or fix that, your wings will look amazing. You need to not delete your colors as you go. You need to hit the right colors, and it does not matter whether they are smooth. Just forget them being super smooth. Flames aren't like, they're chaotic by nature, right? It's fine. Couple of notes. I'm using some very exciting products in this. This is Mini Color. Worked on this with Cult of Paint, and they will be announced on Kickstarter relatively soon, which is extremely exciting. We have Games Workshop equivalents listed. Not only that, but if you want to go slow or you're painting a huge thing and you want to take loads of steps, bearing in mind that I painted the wings in about 5 minutes, so you can go slower than that if you want quite easily. I've got some more paints, so if you want to have an option between these two rather than mixing a blend, that'll be listed in the card at the end, as well as how to fix your mistakes. We'll cover that with painting. One of these was done fast. This one, that's one from the tutorial today, and one was done slow. This one. I put it up to you guys, the Instagram viewers. Follow us on Instagram if you want to get involved in the voting. Which one of these looks best from an army painting perspective? It was almost 50-50. So given that one of them took 30 minutes and the other one took 5, if you're on a time budget or you just want it to be simple and effective, you can follow the tutorial that we're doing today and it'll go fine. If you want to go slower, just dilute more, you know, dry brush really, really carefully. You can use some blends more or something like that and take your time. I mean, diluting with the dampening pad. We only need one brush for this, one brush for fixing, 2 brushes for this. It's pretty simple and it's really fun. And if you can get these good, and this is absolutely good enough, this passes the 3-foot rule by a mile, they will look amazing on the tabletop and it's really satisfying. So hopefully we can help you out. Right, we're going to jump into the explanation of the colors that we've used and the method with my little diagram. If you don't care about this, you can skip it, but I really suggest watching it because there's some notes that you need to hit there and some colors that you should avoid. Do not touch Agrellan Sunset. It has no place in this painting, but you can keep your Mephisto on red. All right, let's jump in. I'm going to make it very simple for you. I've broken it down. I've actually already painted this once, but I wasn't happy with the quality of the teaching, so I'm going to be using a diagram. I've gone right back to the channel's roots. In fact, the first video we ever had that did really well is called Paint Glowing Terrain in 20 minutes or something like that. I'll link that at the end. This is exactly the same, but we're going in reverse. And this is what makes flames hard for people because you're used to going from dark to light. We're going to be going from light to dark. I'll explain everything I've got written down here now. It's going to make it far easier for you. A couple of things. At the end of this tutorial, I teach you how to fix mistakes. And the biggest mistake, I've even got where it will probably happen circled here, is that you're gonna, as you start using stronger paints, you're gonna obscure your previous step with one of your paints as they get stronger. I'll break these down in Citadel terms for you so you can use comparisons. I'm using Mini Color. So we've got a Flash Gits Pure Yellow. We've got like an Egg Yolky Yellow. Games Workshop only have one option for this, that's Ureal. It's a wonderful color. You've got to hit that kind of warm yellow. Then something like Troll Slayer, Corn or Mephiston, and then we're already using a Bad and Black. The white doesn't matter, but the white is very important because the white is what's going to let our pure colors, our clean colors to the left, this half, look bright. These are not good for coverage, but they are good for color. These are better for coverage, but they get a little bit dirty. Do not substitute in something like Agrellan at the bottom because it's got good coverage. That will ruin what you are doing. And to give you an illustration of the difference between a clean color and a dirty color, we have Troll Slayer and Jacaro. This one's made for coverage and is basically grey in comparison. This can get in the bin for this tutorial. This, however, has got a bit of black in it and we need that because that's going to help it transition into this black. And this black is a soft black. If you use a strong black, it will just obliterate your red. So try and stick with weaker paints at the beginning and you can use stronger ones at the end, but you've got to take more care towards the end. All right, I think that is everything we're going to need. Final step. You can go 1, 2, 3. It's not quite bright enough. Repeat your white as a wash or use a white ink or something and then go 1, 2, 3 again and then go through. This is exactly the same as our walls tutorial but in reverse. So we're going to be using the power of white underpainting to make these two look like fluorescent paints. You can use fluorescents if you want, but this is a way to get around using them. And it's kind of a superpower to remember that you can always go back and paint white under something. perhaps a channel first for me. As a contamination enjoyer, I've elected to use clean painting water for this. We're going to be using very pure colors at the beginning, as I covered in the intro. So it's extremely important that we don't accidentally dirty them. Now, fire's not super consistent, so you can have discrepancies in there. It's absolutely fine. We're not about getting things smooth, but we don't want our bright, important beginning colors to look dirty or muddy. It can look dirty, muddy at the end. And your painting can be patchy, but you need to have the right colors in the right places to give the right impression. I'm going to put my paints down in lines to make it so it's easy for me to take exactly as much or as little as I need. And then we will get started. The dry brushing is going to take care of the blending for us, which is wonderful. This is why people have droppers, isn't it? So easy to get a little thin line down there. Now you could use, let's say this is a Mephiston equivalent. You could use an Evil Sun's in the middle there. It's up to you. You decide. If you think you're going to find it easier without doing a blend there and getting the pure red, maybe it's easier to have a soft red there before you get into the hard-hitting, dirty ones like Mephiston. All right, we're prepped. Let's get the dampening pad and we're ready to go. And we're going to be using, I have a very heavily used one, which has been airbrushed on the side. I've got a medium here, just about the right size for this type of thing. You probably don't want to use a much larger one because there's going to be a point where you've got to stipple exactly the right zones and you don't want your circles that you're stippling to be too big. All right, 1 drop of water off the back of the brush. There we go. Make sure you press it in first with a finger, not your brush. And this is going to help keep things smooth. All right. So I put out the white in case we need it, but we're not going to use it yet. He says dipping into the white from habit. That's how used I am to following my own guidelines on the palette. It should be all right. So we've got a very light wing. I'm just going to base coat it all over with this light color. There we go. You can see that's almost going down in one coat perfectly. That's because the white was down underneath it. You could airbrush this if you wanted to, but I mean, it's no slower doing it like this, is it? There is no downside to it going further up the flames. Just make sure you cover all of your area. That only took 1 coat. You really don't need to go particularly heavily with that. I know it's a base coat, but because it's going over white, it needs to do a lot less. All the way throughout this, we're going to concentrate pretty heavily on not like oversaturating the brush, not putting too much on it, clean between steps, that type of thing. So now for our egg yolky yellow. This is one of my favorite colors from our upcoming range. Pretty similar to Uriel, like I said. It's just got to be really, really warm. So I'm going to cover all of my flames in this at the end. You start off with heavy all over coverage. This is while the risk is a little bit higher. And then once there's less paint left on my brush, and it's behaving a little bit better, so I've kind of cleaned my brush onto my model now, think of it like that. Test again until we've got a dry brush that's only just about picking out the wrinkles in my skin, and then we're going to dry brush. There we go. And this is what's going to kind of blend the flames into each other, but I didn't do blending. It's just that this is kind of distracting you. So the bits that stick out, they now get lightened. We're going to be repeating that pattern. This is all you need to do for all the tutorial. Carry on watching, I've got some useful stuff, but you've seen everything that you need to at this stage. It's just about the brush loading and hitting those right colors in the right order. So we've still got some of our previous color in the brush, but I'll grab a bit more. Stipple the ends again. So yeah, I'm not too bothered about things being smooth because we're going to use the power of the dry brush and cheating, the best painting skill, to the best of our ability. And in fact, you could do almost all of this with stippling if you wanted to like fade out your stipples as you went down the flames. That'd be like a softer result, but I quite like it when the bits that stick out get hit by dry brushing. Might take a couple of attempts, but there's absolutely no reason to rush, and rushing is probably where things would start going wrong. Do the test again. You can test on your palette, of course. Again, hitting only the bits that stick out. Now, obviously, if you're painting both sides of the wing, I'm just doing one for the tutorial for speed, but Make sure you don't miss any areas. I do have the trick for catching the areas that they missed at the end though. At this stage, if you're like, I still want to soften that a bit, you go back for water. We're just going to stipple on the transition. So these kind of blunt stop sections, we're only stippling down a very weak mix, but that's going to soften things there. So just doing it on the border. We had like this color and this color, and that just blends them together a little. Carry on doing it. Now we're about to go into the red, and I had some strong words of warning about the red. The mistake where things will go wrong. And you get that word of warning because we're stepping up in strength now. So you just got to be careful. Again, we start on our tips, but just the tip. This is a different type of just the tip. Tip of the brush, but also tip of the flames. You don't need to go like really slow, but just don't speed up. You get this kind of impulse that you should always ignore. It's always wrong to sprint to the finish line in painting, and you should never sprint to the finish line. Tournament painters out there, you know that that's an absolute lie. Sometimes you have to, but we've all been there, right? Hotel room painting. But you shouldn't really be racing through last bits. Now, we're already looking okay. It's great. I went on a safe zone, if you will. Bottom to top. I'll now go top to bottom on the safe zone again. Try and use up more of the paint. I need to be careful not to obscure the orange, so I don't want to go much further than that. See again, just the wrinkles, the raised areas. Wrinkles are staying free. Soft touch, to be careful. I haven't let it dry fully, so punished. Because I was going bottom to top, I'll now go top to bottom. Because what we've got is all my flames at the top are a little bit weaker. Now, if you're feeling brave, you can do some purposeful stipples. Down the length of the flames, up to you. If you're worried, don't do them. Okay, it's up to you. You are correct with your caution if you don't want to do them. Let this dry 100%. I'll speed it up with a hairdryer, and then we're going to advance to the black with great care. So I think I've slightly obscured my orange. So, you know, the thing that I warned you, it was really easy to do, I've done. I didn't do it on purpose, but you know, it says a lot when I've said, this is the thing that frequently happens that you need to avoid, and then it happens. So I'm going to stipple a little bit of my orange at the appropriate height on the flames whilst being careful not to obscure my yellow. Brush a little clean. I'm only taking paint to the very tip. Take the black, mix it with the red. You can see even the weakest black in the industry is doing too much there. All right, and then my stipples for the tips of the flames, I'm literally trying to stipple my finger more than I am the flame, right? It's much safer to aim off the zone that you're trying to paint if you're trying to barely hit it. And like I said, just don't speed up here. Don't rush it. You know, keep testing the brush. We need the water in there. We need the paint to be leaving easily. A little bit more black. And I was going bottom to top. I'll go top to bottom again. Aiming off the tips. You're going to have to dry brush at some stage soon, and it's scary. So if you're worried, you know, it's not just you. I'm actually going to remove quite a bit and just reset the brush. It was just a little bit too wet. Tiny dot of black. Really soft approach. Okay, and we're nearly ready. Remove tons, then very carefully go further down. Super soft touch. Pure black. I say that, I've still got red in the brush, and I'm mixing it in a place that there's red on the palette. Test on the palette. Test on my skin. super soft. So I'm holding this is normal. I'm holding it on the wood now. That makes it more delicate, like Japanese flowing line painting. And we just catch the right tips. You can actually add a bit of like a cool gray in here, and it'll make it look like they're turning to smoke. I'll maybe do that just for emphasis. Okay, we've got a bit there that we've kind of dry brushed off, but we can fix that. We are good. They look banging. Actually, these went faster than the others. I think they're a little bit more fast and loose, but that's okay because they're super bright. And that's what we were aiming for. I'll grab like a Space Wolfy blue. We'll just do a tiny little bit of a dry brush. So we cleaned our brush until it was feeling soft. Tiniest bit of rust grey. Test, we can actually use my hand. It's a colour palette test, or ideally your palette. And then just the very, very, very tips. Wonderful. Right, it's worked super well. I'm going to show you how to fix your mistakes now. Really easy. Take a normal brush, tiny bit of the colour you missed. You only got a little bit of water on there and a little bit of paint. Test it on your skin. And then because it's not a uniform area, you can just glaze anything where you're like, oh, that needs to be more red. Just blob a little in. Blob a little in, blob a little in. You can do this over any step. I don't need to put my white back in, but you could use white as a wash in the recesses. It's that forgiving. There we go. So already we put a red back in if we deleted it. There you go. Hope you found that useful. If you did, let us know what you'd like to see us covering next. And hopefully your flames go wonderfully in the future. I will link the opposite of this video, which is going from dark to light for glowing terrain here. It's a historic one, so enjoy that. That was the first video that really brought this channel to YouTube. Thank you very much to any of you who've been watching since then, and welcome everyone else.